Every offseason, for good reason, the biggest and craziest signings and trades where star players and big names get moved around tend to get all of the attention in the media and by fans on social media, because those are usually the moves that impact the upcoming season the most. We also consistently, though, see plenty of moves every year go down that tend to fly under the radar at the time, but then, during the season, we see those players make a huge difference on their new teams, and everyone wonders how the move managed to fly so under the radar for so long. That's exactly what we'll be discussing in today's video, as we'll be going through 5 sneakily great signings from free agency so far this year that haven't been getting much attention but could prove to be very valuable down the line. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first sneakily great signing we'll be discussing today from this offseason is Naji Marshall signing with the Dallas Mavericks for 3 years and $27 million. Naji Marshall is by no means a player who will turn heads on a regular basis. He's not a flashy scorer, he doesn't dominate the ball, and he's not someone who necessarily pops up in highlight reels very often, but what Marshall excels at is doing the little things to help a basketball team win games. He's gritty, he's a tough competitor, he's continually improving as a three-point shooter, having just shot a career-best 39% from 3, and he absolutely battles defensively, taking on any matchup assigned to him and making their lives hell. He's honestly one of the most underrated defenders in the league, because he's been doing it off the bench in New Orleans for the first 4 years of his career, outshined by players like Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum, while the team has also struggled to make any real noise in the West playoffs. The Pelicans were an impressive 6.8 points better per 100 possessions with Marshall on the floor versus when he was on the bench, and players shot 4.2% worse than normal when Marshall guarded them. So for a Mavericks team that always needs more versatile defenders that can space the floor around Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they got a great one to round out their rotation with here. The next sneakily great signing we'll be discussing today is DeAnthony Melton signing with the Golden State Warriors for 1 year on the mid-level exception worth $12.8 million. The Warriors experienced a pretty big shift this offseason as Klay Thompson left in free agency, breaking up the trio of him, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green that have been together throughout all of their success. So, while it's the end of an era to some degree, the team is still trying to bounce back after a disappointing season where they missed the playoffs. DeAnthony Melton has been a great role player for years now, but last season he struggled with injuries, so he wasn't able to contribute during the 76ers end-of-season run and their playoff series, and as a result of it, Melton's value took a bit of a dip. He was dealing with back issues for most of the second half of the season, but he's now had a long time to recover and should be back to normal by the start of the new season, and if that's the case, then the Warriors are arguably getting a player who fits better into what they need than Klay Thompson, even if Klay is objectively the better player in a vacuum. Melton shot 39% from 3 in his last healthy season, he shot 41% from 3 when he was in Memphis, and he's a tenacious defender with very long arms and quick feet that he uses to his advantage to poke balls away and keep his man in front of him. Klay's issue last year was that he would sometimes try to do too much and take some bad shots at untimely moments, but Melton for the most part sticks to the 3-and-D role and is a clear upgrade over Klay defensively too. The next sneakily great signing we'll be discussing today is Caleb Martin signing with the Philadelphia 76ers for 4 years worth $32 million. Caleb Martin was a hero for the Miami Heat 2 seasons ago when he exploded in the conference finals against the Boston Celtics to help the Miami Heat advance to the NBA Finals, and his rock-solid two-way play had been a huge boost for the Heat during his tenure after they discovered him as a bit of a diamond in the rough. Martin brings toughness to a lineup and does not shy away from any challenge, and he has been praised by Heat coach Erik Spoelstra for how vital his versatility was to their success during his time there, saying, quote, "Night after night after night, he's taking on all the different challenges this league can present, whether he's guarding the small, super quick guys, or whether he's guarding the bigger wings, or that he's switched on to centers. Our defense seems to be most active and fast when he's out on the court," end quote. Martin is also a league average three-point shooter, so you have to respect him beyond the arc, because as he showed in the playoffs on quite a few occasions, he can heat up and win you a game. The 76ers entered this offseason with ambitious goals of landing a third big star and rounding out the roster with battle-proven hungry role players, and Caleb Martin is exactly that, with NBA Finals experience and a willingness to embrace any role that's needed of him. The fact that he even took a pay cut to be in Philadelphia after the Miami Heat gave him a more lucrative offer says it all, that he wants to be where he is and is ready to work hard and do the little things needed to help them win basketball games. The next sneaky great signing we'll be discussing today is Derrick Jones Jr. signing with the Los Angeles Clippers for 3 years worth $30 million. Derrick Jones Jr. could have easily landed on a list like this last summer as well, when he signed with the Mavericks on a 1-year minimum prove-it deal, and man oh man did he prove it. Jones is coming off of the best season he has had as an NBA player, putting up a career high in points and shooting a career best from 3, proving he can now be a league average shooter from 3, and with defenses now having to respect his jumper, he has become much more effective on both ends of the floor. Jones is a freak athlete that can jump out of the gym, who operates well as a cutter and finishes strong at the rim, and this season on a Mavericks team who really focused hard on improving defensively as the season went on, Derrick Jones Jr. became an even more important part of the rotation because of his versatility on that end. The Clippers traded away a lot of their front court depth in the James Harden trade last year, and this offseason they've done well to replenish in that area despite losing Paul George, and adding Derrick Jones Jr. will definitely help them out in that area, carrying a ton of positive momentum in his career, moving in the right direction. And finally, the last sneakily great signing we'll be discussing today is Malik Beasley signing with the Detroit Pistons for 1 year worth $6 million. Malik Beasley, in my opinion, is a really great signing for a young Pistons squad because his skill set can really help them begin playing some legitimate modern basketball after being a step behind the rest of the pack in a few key areas over the last few years. I'm not saying that he's a guy who will get them back to the playoffs or back to contention by any means, but in today's NBA, balanced lineups and floor spacing are as vital as ever, and the Pistons were severely lacking in just that. They ranked in the bottom 5 of the NBA in both 3-point percentage and 3-point attempts per game last year, so bringing in a ready and willing sharpshooter to launch threes and space the floor at a high volume for the team's creators like Cade Cunningham is a big boost. Beasley is coming off of his best season as an NBA player shooting the ball, having knocked down 41% of his shots from deep last year in Milwaukee on a solid 7 attempts per game, so as a fit, I really like him alongside Cade Cunningham in the backcourt, and with new coaching as well, the Pistons can actually rebrand their playstyle with appropriate personnel now. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these low-key signings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.